Let's go.
Hello, hello, how are you? You're looking lovely today, if you don't mind me saying. I think that colour suits your eyes. Ray? Oh, it's so good to see you guys. So good. Look at this. I've got down, I've got illumination down, like a little candle. If it flickered, it would look like a little candle, wouldn't it? You'd be thinking, oh, look at Rokk. He can't afford his electric. Oh dear, it's Wednesday. It's what is it? It's Good News Wednesday, isn't it? It's Happy Wednesday. I like to think of it as a Happy Wednesday. It's a very good Wednesday. It's a very good Wednesday. Who says that? In my kind of witch voice. Yeah. Hello to all you lovely folk. Says, oh look, K-Sport, ladies and gentlemen, our good friend from Ubisoft, who I do believe is not in this country right now. I do believe that he may be very close, like that close, to our friend, your friend and my friend, all of our friends, a lovely chap, young Björn. Björn, I spoke to him a while back about how you pronounce it. Because obviously a lot of people say Björk for I am oh so quiet, and Bjorn from ABBA, Benny and Bjorn. But we've been getting it wrong, guys. It's not Bjorn or Bjork. The O is actually like a U in Nordic. When it's got the two little dots, which is called an umlaut, over the top of the O, you actually make an U sound. So it's Björn and Björk. You see? Björk. So there you go. Learn lingo with Rokk. Episode 7. The umlaut. I've had a great day. Oh, hang on. Siri's trying to dictate. Go away. I didn't mention your name now, did I? Mario plus Rabbids, sparks of hope, says Ubisoft in my email. I just noticed. Well, bless you, Ubisoft. How are you guys? I hope you are in absolute festive order. Look, it's him. It's the old cowboy. He says, hey, Raksho, have you seen Gran Turismo, or do you have any interest in it? No. It was really good, and I just watched over half hour of interviews with the real... I've still got that little Rokk logo over the top. I'm probably more interested in racing games than I am something like FIFA or MLB or whatever it's called, because I find those a bit... And racing can be quite good fun, and you don't have... you can kind of build your skill up, can't you? It's not all about knowing the intricacies of the sport or... any of that kind of stuff. But no, I haven't seen it. It's Gran Turismo. Is it Xbox only, or that's Forza, isn't it? Forza. Or is this the PlayStation one? I know they all I mean, the thing is this, right? They all look amazing. Oh, look, Rockmuth. My last name is Johnson. And now you know how to say it. It's Johnson. And if you were to be absolutely on the money. So our good friend is most obviously in origin from the Nordic area. It could be Sweden, could be Denmark, could be Finland, Iceland, Norway. There's a number of countries. But it would actually, the J would be pronounced as a Y. So it would be Jonsson. Would be the actual pronunciation. There's another one, ladies and gentlemen. There is no O after the first O in pronunciation. Many people think because the word pronounce has an O to pronounce, that pronunciation is the obvious pronunciation, but it's not. There is no O. Pronunciation. Hello, Michael. How are you, my good friend? Great to see you. So here I am, glowing in my white. Yes, this is the PlayStation 1. But I'm talking, the movie. Yes, it was based off the true story. Yes. It's the, flippin' heck. The guy in it is a really good actor, actually. Wasn't he in Mumbai Millionaire or whatever it was called? Back in the day. He's a great little actor, I have to say. But yeah, no, I've seen trailers. It does look really good, you're right. I even remember the original story, and because it was this guy, wasn't it, who was like he was amazing at Gran Turismo, and he got into actual racing, and I think he did okay, didn't he? I don't know the story other than that original thing. Hello, Crystal. Oh look, we got good news. My good news for today. I only have 4 more days. This is stuck in Ohio. You're not very happy being in Ohio, are you? Is it that bad? I'm guessing it could be. It's just that we all like our home, don't we? You know what I mean? Oh, look at this. Joe recently saw a GT. You saw the Gran Turismo movie, do you mean? Crystal, we all love our homes, don't we? Ultimately, that's where we're at our most relaxed, isn't it? Most of us, not all. Some have issues at home and, bless them. But for those of us that don't, I can't wait to get home. And I'm out and about. I went for a lovely walk this morning with a dear old friend of mine. He used to work for me. I've mentioned him in the past, many, many years ago. And we just stayed good friends. And bless him, he's in his mid-70s. And we took his dogs for a walk up in the woods, which was a great surprise. I knew we were going for a walk, but when he opened the, what do you guys call the boot? The trunk. You call it the trunk, don't you? When he opened the trunk up and these dogs pounced out, I was like, what? I didn't see that coming. But he has one Staffordshire Bull Terrier. He's a lovely little thing, but they, all of those fighting dogs, you've got to watch them. You don't want to get into a situation where their instincts take over. And he has a kind of Labrador cross. I wouldn't want to say she's called Gilly. I wouldn't want to say that she was a lab, but she clearly had lab looks. Anyway, she was a failed gun dog. So she had been bred and trained to be a retriever, for sport, for pheasant shooting or whatever you do. And her job would be to go and retrieve the bird. But she was no good at it, bless her. She was very obedient, but she a little bit too needy and didn't like leaving her master, which actually makes her a really good pet. So they were going to have her destroyed, which I think is incredibly sad. And my friend said, no, we'll take her in, we'll have her. So I walked her today and she was so lovely. Do you know what? You could tell how well trained she was. She wouldn't leave my side on the lead, or the leash as you guys call it. And you could see her constantly looking back just to make sure that she wasn't going ahead. Brilliant. Anyway, that was nice. That was a huge surprise. It was lovely to see my friend. But after an hour, I wanted to come home. It was nice. It was lovely. But, home is where the heart is. Plus, I've been working on a new channel, guys. I don't know if you've seen it. You may or may not have seen this. But I've been working on a new channel called Rokk and Pop. I tell you what inspired me, kind of. Our good friend Björn, he started up a review. What do they call those sites where they review music? They've got a special name, begins with an R. I can't remember what it's called now. And he's been doing exceptionally well. He started a separate channel. It's now he's monetized. I think he's got over 1,000 subscribers. And he's only put it up 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I thought, I'd love to do something around music as well, because you guys know I love music. And I have such eclectic taste, as you know, from Ren to Mozart to ABBA to Queen. Love music, so I'd like to do something. So I came up with the idea of doing these little kind of 2.5-minute documentaries on well-known music artists. Now, they take me a few hours each, but I'm loving doing them. I just focus, it's just creative. So at the moment, I've got Taylor Swift, because I needed to start somewhere, and I thought, well, she's massive at the moment, and she's what's been doing it for Björn, and she's got a gig and stuff. And I put that one up, and it got okay. It wasn't brilliant. And then I put one up for Ren. Remember Ren from last week? and that's exploded. Dear old Ren's had about, I only put it up yesterday, he's had like 2,500 views, and he's doubled my subscription base. So I think I'm onto something here, guys. I did a little short for both of them, and I'm working on one. I've been working on it all day for the next artist, which is Eminem. I'm doing one on Marshall Mathers, the third, no less. And I've just, on my video, and this is a longer one, I've actually gone for a 5-minute length on the Eminem one, because I'm trying different things. So in all the time I've worked on it today, I've got up to the point of where it says, and after his disastrous home life, he found solace in music. I've only got up to when he was in his teens, but anyway, I'm loving it, and it's great. I'll show you, I'll give you a little look in a second. But I've been working on that, and that's been amazing fun. I'm really, really enjoying that. As I seeing old friends as well, and taking doggies for walks, which I do miss. I miss not having a dog, I really do. I had a dog all the way up until I left home. And I only left home to move in with Mrs. Rokk. Veritable childhood sweethearts, indeed. So yeah, my wife's not a big dog lover. She doesn't mind them. She likes them if they're well behaved, but she doesn't like cleaning up after them, and she's doesn't like any kind of animal remains. So it's hardly unlike my daughters. On the other hand, they adore dogs, and my youngest is adamant. Little Rokk, Arkansas, she is going to get a dog. And I reckon she'll have one within a year. So I've got that to look forward to. That's all good, isn't it? So how have you guys been anyway? I've got a new mouse, but I'm not sure about it. It's literally it came just before the show. So it's one of those kind of ergonomic things where, you sort of, your hands off to the side, which is pretty good. But I tell you what I'm struggling with. When I have to move it, I have to grip it. And when I grip it, I'm gripping the two buttons. So I'm ending up pressing right button and left button and stuff. Whereas with a normal mouse, you just grip the side and move it around, and then you do the button. See? So it seemed like a good idea, but in reality, whoops, I'll show you what I mean. So I've got it here, right? There's the mouse. Let's see where's the best way of showing you. There we go. So that's all good. Now then, to move it, this is slippery. This part here is slippery, and there's the two buttons. So to move it, I've kind of got to just either get used to gripping that little bit on the bottom with the little thumb bit there, which is pretty cool. Let's see with that one. But see, when it's flat, because you can't really see it there, let me get this amazing wooden coffee coaster. So when it's flat, I can't actually grip that bit down there. So it may be one of my famous Amazon returns. Oh, yeah, it's a good idea. So why am I not using this one? Good question. I heard you say. I love this mouse. I bought it because it's whisper quiet. This one isn't. This one's got a click, which is it's an appealing click, but not when you're listening and it gets picked up by the mic. But the left button has stopped responding. I mean, I have to really push it down, and even then it's luck of the draw, which is a real shame. I mean, I suppose I could possibly take it apart, but I'm not much for repairs and things, and they're like $10, so it's where we are, first world and all that. So I don't know, I think this one's going back, bless him. I do love the idea, and it is a comfortable holding position, but it ain't doing it. And when I come to move it, I kind of have to push it, and then you'd sort of drag it back, and I don't know. And that's not good news, is it? But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Now then, it is, as I've said, Good News Wednesday. So, I've got my mouse, kind of. I've got my new YouTube channel, which I'm loving. Try blowing air under the button. Could just break it, I suppose, and blowing air under the button. See, I suppose because it has the feature of dampened buttons, is that the phrase? So, you don't have a click. It may be that it's more prone to that kind of damage. It's good. That's a good point, though, mate. I might give it another go. I mean, it should work anyway. If I just, oh no, it won't work. So I've taken out the dongle. Anyway, we'll sort it. It's all good. It's all good. But I will give that a go, Rokk. Thank you, my friend. So Joe is, Joe. Sorry. So Joe has seen the Gran Turismo movie, and you enjoyed it, Joe. You said it was a great movie. It's definitely a movie that I will watch when it's on one of my streaming services, which they all seem to be eventually. So I've actually got to a point where, so I was really looking forward to Joaquin Phoenix in Napoleon, which is coming up around the end of the year, because it looks stunning, and there's still half of me that says I should go and see it at the theatre, but it's also coming to Apple TV shortly after. I don't know when. I mean, it may not turn up till next summer, but it is nonetheless. So I'm kind of thinking, do I wait? Oh, GFN have stealth dropped a Game Pass game, Sea of Stars. Yes, they have, my friend. They have. We'll cover the whole GeForce Now universe tomorrow, of course. That's the gaming thing. Hello, Adam. How are you, my friend? Good to see you, dude. I forgot what I was talking about. Work has been crazy. Oh, no, mate. This is all the old folk wanting their computers sorted, is it? Is that... I just imagine you running around this huge old folks' home in New Jersey, and they're all going, "Where can get the interwebs?" Joe says, had the chance to catch it on National Movie Day. $4. $4? Wow, that had to be done. That's cool. Actually, you know what, Joe? We've got we're on 3 cinemas in my town. And one of them is part of the Odeon chain, which is ancient. In the UK, it goes back to the 1920s or something. And the building in my town that they still operate from is their original building, and it's like 1930s. Gorgeous Art Deco swirls on the outside and stuff. And a huge sort of main screen, which you could imagine when I was a kid and I used to go to things like Saturday morning pictures and stuff. Absolutely brilliant fun. Look at that, Antsaw. We watched it for $4. I didn't realise you'd seen it. I thought you said you watched reviews of it. Anyway, so, yes, here's the thing. But they're having to compete with these new multiplexes with their plush leather seats and, all that stuff. So they've dropped their price. And it's not far from yours. Yours still beats it, but it's literally about $6. Like, not for a special occasion all the time. On certain days, I think, but most of the time. So I thought that was rather good. $6. Wowzer. Do you know, all this time I've been trying to find out. 1 second, folk. Here we are. I'm glad I finally got around to it. Okay. Good. Right, now there was yeah, so what was happening there was you guys were getting a delay between my mouth and the microphone, but I've now fixed that. But I get an echo because I'm hearing it twice. So if you can give me literally 1 second and I'll turn off the monitor. Right, there we go. So now, you're getting audio when I say it. I said I seen it. I watched 2 interviews, sorry mate, which made me want to watch it again. The real guy said the movie was very accurate. Wow. And get this. What's next? Yeah, I love those kind of films. He played as the stunt double. What? No, seriously, the original guy. So is he no longer, or is that a spoiler alert? I'm assuming he's no longer doing it professionally. Otherwise, insurance wouldn't have covered him. But that's cool, isn't it? That's so cool. Yeah, I will watch it though. I mean, as I've said, it'll almost certainly come, because all the places that I can see stuff, apart from Netflix and Prime, I have Sky, which is like the national cable setup owned by Murdoch. I think he still owns it. I'm not sure. He got rid of a load of stuff recently. But I also pay for Sky Cinema, which is, it's all right. They have loads of movies, but most of them are crap. And then once a month they'll get one or two blockbusters in. So it may come on there. But also Apple seems to be doing quite a good job of showing movies and stuff. Hello, Neil! Just stopping by to say hi. I have to be off again in a minute. Are you still on your holiday travels, or have you come back and you're now in your working travels? Hey, Neil! Have a good day, evening. Bless you. It's lovely, isn't it? I love that we all come together and we have a little chat. You know, we're all friends. And then what happens is you all go off to other places and you see each other and you continue your chats. I love that. It's a proper little community. Oh yes, watch Dune, or Dune, I suppose it is. Dune. Interesting, the old English language, isn't it? I mean, I said in the past, I don't denigrate what our American friends do with pronunciation, because I think it makes more sense a lot of the time. A lot of the changes that they've made, or the way they pronounce things, or the way you guys pronounce things, I think half the time it's the right thing. And we're seeing even in Britain, we're seeing the English language change quite rapidly. So picking up more internationalist, and we're seeing in a lot of places accents disappearing and becoming a bit more kind of same-ish. But it's great because kids all over the world, thanks largely to Hollywood and American TV, speak exceptionally good English. My old history teacher used to say, I've forgotten his name now, old fella, probably not even around anymore, but he used to say, you know, it was that close as to whether America would adopt English or another language. He used to say if they hadn't have adopted English at a point where England was the dominant force in the world, the world itself would probably be a different place. We, as a country, would have to be speaking other languages. You see, we're quite lazy in Britain because American English, and I always say this is quite important, it's not English, American English is the international language of travel and business, and now entertainment as well. So we're lazy because we speak it, as do Canadians and South Africans and Australians. So we kind of just ride on the coattails. It's quite cool. But if you're French or German or Swedish, then you've got to, and you're on the interwebs, you kind of want to learn English so that you can chat to everybody. And it's an international language. But here's the thing. Yeah, YouTube. Oh, yeah, my kids used to when they were young. Here's the thing that I envy the likes of Bjorn is when he goes on holiday, as he did recently, to Mallorca, he can get on a bus with his wife and talk in Swedish about that couple in front, or those idiots outside, or the driver that's going too fast, and nobody but them know what they talk about. I have a conversation on a bus and everybody knows what I'm talking about wherever I am in the world. I can't escape it. I have to be super careful. Yeah, it's not so much Adam, it's not so much a special language, but it is, it's, I would say it's more American. There's just lots of Americanisms because our kids watch super amounts of, Dr. Disrespect and Mr. B. Not my kids couldn't give a stuff about that, but my nation's children watch a lot of the American YouTubers. So that's, to a degree, there are still a huge amount now of other. I watched a guy the other day. I'm just going to check on the focus on this thing here and hope that I don't crash. I can actually change the focus now, guys, in software. Right, that I think is optimum for this camera. Yeah, I watched this guy the other day. I'm not sure what country he was from or even what his name was. I think it was Thailand, somewhere around there. And he was putting up these 30-second to a minute long form, they weren't short, videos on YouTube, and they were just not funny. There was one I watched where, as just to see why he was so successful, there was one where he was pretending to be a thief breaking into a police car with a balaclava with this stupid kind of Benny Hill music, and then just as he's trying to hotwire the car, he feels this hand on his shoulder, and of course it's the police who then takes him away with sound effects. This guy had 15 million subscribers, and I was looking online and it was suggesting that he was probably clearing, in advertising alone, just shy of $2.8 million a month for some of the crappiest films I've ever seen. Amazing. But anyway, who am I to care? It's all wonderful in the big, wide, wonderful world of Internet's Shire. Be nice though, wouldn't it? Be nice to even close, even close to 5% of that would be beautiful. I'm going to quickly show you my new channel, which I'm quite proud of. And I will then, that's interesting, where's that gone now? Oh, I see, because it's to subscribers. So if you're a subscriber, you don't see it. Right, okay. Right, let's get old Simpers kicking over here, said while swigging from a prime bottle. Here we are, here it is, Rokk and Pop. Now, as you can see, there's not a lot of content here. Although it says 17 videos, that's because I adopted it. I adapted it from another channel that I had. That I was going to start with just game streams and things, but it wasn't worth the bother. And so that's why. But I've only got 4 if you include the shorts that you can actually see. But look at this. So yesterday I only had 60 subscribers, and now it's getting on its way to 95. And then Taylor Swift's video here, which is getting 2 views an hour, but ain't bad, 120 views. But look at old Ren over here, look at him. He's getting 134 views an hour, and he's up to 2.4k. Woohoo! And then I've created these little shorts, and again, look at this, Taylor Swift, next to nothing going on, 71 views. Whereas Ren over here, he's got 300 views. You can't hear this anyway. But this is the short, which I'm quite proud of. Actually, it promotes his album. I'm even thinking about, I'm just trying to work out in my head how I can do it. I'm thinking of doing reaction videos, but completely differently to anybody else, because that's what I do, right? Let's turn the audio off. So I'm thinking of doing them with like an AI host, like a robot doing a reaction. Hello, Unitrix. How are you, my friend? Good to see you. But I've got to work on the thinking, but I'm working on it. Because I was thinking, if I did like a a week of one artist. So I'm working on Eminem, right? So if I did like a week of start with an Eminem documentary of this kind of quality here, in fact better, I think the new one's really good, and then do a short to promote the thing, but then take like their top 3 or 4 hits and do a reaction video with my robotic friend. Could be really good. Anyway, I think I might be onto something here. There's no audio. I'm using audio. I've got a voiceover, but I'm not taking any of the voice or the music from the artist in these videos. I actually think I can, because there's that whole reaction video thing of about 5 seconds that they seem to do. They seem to let it go for about 5 to 10 seconds. And then then they jump in and go, oh, wow, I love the way he did this. And it's actually, they're doing that to avoid copyright. And so I'd probably be okay putting little snippets of their music in there, which is what I'm going to try with Eminem and see what... I mean, obviously, I'm a million miles away from this thing being monetized, so I'm not worried. But I'm interested to see what impact that's likely to have on my, whether it gets a copyright strike or not, that kind of a thing. Anyway, there you go. How long is this one? 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes 33. But people love it. Look at the comments. Hang on, where are they? Where's my comments? There's tons of comments. Only I can't see them. This is the trouble when you're running one of these stats things. Everything gets hidden. Oh, here they are. How many have we got? 28 comments. Oh, my videos never get more than 2. I'm super excited. This is exactly what I was, what one would hope for when you're putting something like this together. So there you go. Anyway, that's that. Rock and Pop, at Rock Pop is what it's... Now, you can't see it because I'm logged in, but I've also got a little intro video as well, which is really cool because, in fact, if I log in as the Rock and Pop account, you'll probably see it. Yeah, here it is. What I love about my video, I sound so... Look at it, it's the same girl. I hunted high and low to find the girl or someone playing a guitar that I could... Because this is just a static image at the top here. Whereas in this video, I've actually found a video of her. You see, there's a voiceover. There's a lady talking over the top, welcoming you to the channel and what you can expect, all that kind of stuff. It's good, isn't it? I love it. I love it. I love it. Anyway, I'm not giving up on this channel, guys. This is just a little sister project, a little side project to give me something to do. But please do sub. It's a baby channel. Anyway, it is Good News Wednesday, which means we're going to check out the latest news over at our friends at Good News. Now, I've had a little peep. There's not masses of good news. I mean, there's some going on here. And don't forget, guys, although you're probably wondering why I haven't started the old exclamation mark win today, and I'm thinking of banking it, because it doesn't seem, just recently I've only been getting 2 or 3 people enter, and they've been members anyway, and every Friday you get special stuff, right? Oh, bless her, she's here! The star of the show has arrived. How are you, Sam? I hope you're having a lovely time in Cornwall. I wouldn't want to know I'm not sure what the weather's like, mind you. It's not great here, so I'm imagining we always find it tends to be nicer in Cornwall anyway. A bit like when you go to London. I can never work that one out. When you go to London, it's always hot and sunny. Great to see you. But yeah, I'm thinking of icing the giveaways during the week, because it's cloudy. That's okay. That's good. Yeah, that's good. Because, people don't seem too worried. We're still doing the big giveaways on Fridays, which is good. And of course, if anybody's got a really good news story for Wednesday, then I would happily award you with a game. Absolutely, I would. So that's where we are with that. We'll see. But at the moment, It's a bit of faff, and nobody's really taking part in it. It's still going to get giveaways on a Friday, exclusive to members only. And of course, on Wednesdays, anybody can enter as a subscriber if you've got good news. Good news. Like Sean had back in the day. I think he's the only one so far, other than Ant, who was trying to impress me with his mirror. I don't remember anybody having a really, really good news. I know Crystal's looking forward to leaving Ohio in 4 days. That's kind of good, but it's not really good news. You know what I mean? Good news. And Sam hasn't got any rain, but that's not really news. It's just nice. You know what I mean? Let's have a look. British Museum. The British Museum, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, has it's really in the news right now. You probably wouldn't have heard of this. The British Museum is huge, right? It's right in the middle of London, and it has the Rosetta Stone. Raymond! My huskies didn't pull us off the cliff on our walk. My favourite cliffside walking story, Sam. Completely changing the subject, but as you've mentioned it. Now, this isn't good news, or at least it wasn't for the individual involved, but it's still one of my favourite funny yet true stories, and it goes like this. So, do you remember those Segways? Do you remember the Segways? You know, the kind of two-wheeled, you stand on them, 2 wheels, and then it has this amazing science, gyroscopic stuff going on. So that it kind of always keeps you going up. I've been on them several times. I love them. They're great fun, right? When they were first invented, the Segway, the gentleman who ran the British Segway business, and I'm not sure if he was like a franchise owner. He was definitely like the CEO. Well, he was on his Segway alongside a cliff. You're guessing where I'm going with this. I swear to you, this is a true story. You can Google this. So he was on his Segway going alongside a cliff. Why? Sees a dog running towards him, has a choice. Do I Segway myself off to the left, inland? Or do I Segway myself off to the right, off the cliff? Now, I know which choice I would have made. Unfortunately, he didn't. He literally turned right and shot off the cliff. Now, Segways are amazing things, right? Tech, amazing. And if you're on land, firmly on the land, they will, unless you're an idiot, they will keep you upright. But when they're off in space, floating off the cliff, they don't have an ability to keep you upright. Anyway, needless to say, that was indeed the end of Mr. CEO Segway UK Limited. It's true. Google it. I just think that's a bit like Elon Musk being in one of his Teslas. You can make up the rest, can't you? The difference is, I bet Mr. Segway was a nice man. What's this? Great news. Huskies didn't pull her off the cliff. It's always good news. Anyway, British Museum's been in trouble because, talking about CEOs, their main man, they discovered that he had been pilfering, which I think is an international word. Oh, look out, Ant's got an epic story. Ant's stories are always epic. Yeah, I think pilfering, is that a word elsewhere other than in the UK? Sometimes we use these really old words, like Dickensian words, but pilfering, meaning to steal. He was discovered to have been pilfering at least 2,000 items, probably of great value, from the British Museum. Now, I don't think he'd sold them, but I'm sure it was in the back of his mind because they've managed to recover them. Anyway, he's been fired, and obviously he's going to go to court and everything else. 2,000! Wow. But it is a beautiful, beautiful museum. They have this gorgeous undulating glass ceiling, which is in little triangles all together, going all little tiny triangles all connected up. It's absolutely stunning. And they have the Rosetta Stone, which is it's a piece of tablet, I believe, which was used to decipher hieroglyphics, ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. It was like, a bit like somebody found the translation book, and then they used it to translate hieroglyphics. All sorts in there. If you've heard of it, it's probably there if it's famous. But there are also some things that we probably shouldn't have there, like the Elgin marbles, which I think during the end of Victoria's reign, we went and pilfered them from the Greeks. Not too, they've always wanted them back, and they should have them back. Absolutely, they should. But anyway, here we go. The British Museum. See, they're all these museums now. Do you remember, a little segue here? Didn't mean it, Mr. CEO. Many moons ago, you would go to a zoo or a safari park, and they had one objective, truthfully, and that was just to sell you tickets and drinks and food. Right? They didn't. Yes, of course, they had to ensure the animals had a reasonable life because they didn't want them dying. They're expensive, but they didn't particularly care. You know, they weren't that worried about how well they were looked after, or whether they were in tiny little cages, or whether they had beautiful enclosures. They didn't used to care. It's a Victorian thing. Again, the Victorians and the Romans, actually, Romans used to shove them in a flipping amphitheatre and throw in the odd gladiator. But no, the Victorians, they used to keep animals. Lions, they would keep a lion in a 4-foot by 6-foot cage, and, you go in and laugh at the lion. Such a shame. But since the kind of 70s, 80s, 90s, they converted them to, throw in Russell Crowe, bless him. Have you seen Russell Crowe recently, Sam? I mean, you see, I only ever think of Russell Crowe as Gladiator, and I think he's a bit of an edgy character. I don't think he's particularly nice. But I saw him in a movie a couple of years back, and there was this really old guy, quite big, quite heavy, manky grey hair, grey beard, it was Russell flipping Crowe. I couldn't get over it. Russell, my man, what have you done to yourself? Flipping heck. But then you see, Gladiator was a long time ago. That's the great thing about these historical movies, isn't it? They kind of can last for a long time. They don't date. They were old when they came out. Do you know what I mean? Rokk show. Woke up this morning. He was having a dream. Do we need to know this, Anne? I'm concerned. What were you dreaming about, my friend? I know I probably shouldn't have encouraged him, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure we're going to want the answer here, but we're going to get it anyway. So where was I? Zoos. They started to oh no, we're doing it because we're conserving wildlife, and if it wasn't for us, there would be no panda bears and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not completely convinced, but anyway, it's good. It's good that we're doing it, and the same thing's happening now with museums, where a lot of these collections were literally, like they go off into India, and they nick stuff, and they bring it back to the museum. Well, I know certainly this is happening in the UK. I think it's happening all over the world, but museums are starting to say, you know what, we should really give this back. It's not, we should definitely show items from our own country and our own history, but should we really retain this highly, rare or incredibly expensive item that actually has come from Namibia? I suppose the one kind of counter to that is when you look at what has been happening in Africa, Iraq, Iran, even Afghanistan, where you get one side of whatever is in the conflict, and they decide to go into all the old antiquated places and destroy stuff because they think it's against their religion, which is terrible. We shouldn't be stealing sarcophaguses, says Sam. Do we still steal sarcophaguses, Sam, or is that just something that you do? Or is that knickers? Says Adam. Hang on, what knickers? Russell Crowe? I'm keen to know what you mean, Adam, by is that knickers? Because in the UK, not so much these days, we used to use the term knickers as if something was rubbish or junk. So we'd say, knickers to that, mate. We don't anymore. I don't hear anybody saying it anymore. That was a thing when I was a kid. So let's go in and have a look at the British Museum. And here we have a couple of Indigenous Canadians. And the British Museum has sent a totem pole back to its Indigenous home in Canada. And just in case we didn't see it, look, they've put right at the end of the sentence, look, in capitals, look. All right, okay, get the message. A 36-foot totem pole, carved. Okay, I've read ahead, ladies and gentlemen. This one, and I'm pretty good at pronunciation, right? This one, I think, is going to catch me out, but we'll give it a go. Carved by the house of Nisjul in British Columbia. What am I going to do? A century ago, is on a sacred journey back home. One of my favourite movies of his, Russell Crowe, is Unhinged, Rokk. Was that the movie you saw? No, the film that I'm thinking of, I think, was the Australian criminal. Hang on, let me see. Ned Kelly. I had to think there. Ned Kelly, the Australian bank robber. I think he was a bank robber. He's the guy who made a helmet out of a bucket. He kind of made his own armour to go and do his crimes. So he famously was wearing a bucket on his head. Now, I have to suggest he wasn't that stupid. He had a slit. It's a bit like the old school knights would wear. Anyway, he got hanged in the end, I do believe. But I think he was in a movie about Ned Kelly. I think. Let's go to my friend IMDb, shall we? Let's sacrifice this one. I do love IMDb. And we'll put Ned Kelly, because it wasn't called Ned Kelly, but it was like an incredibly long, or was it? No, Mick Jagger was in one in the 1970s. The Outlaw, no, it wasn't. Oh, let's put, I tell you what, let's put Ned Kelly and Russell Crowe. I don't know how to spell Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe. No, they come up with Kelly Crowe. Russell, two S's. Is it two S's and then an E at the end? I can't remember. Russell Crowe. I've spelled that wrong, haven't I? Look, something's not right here. Russell Crowe. Right, let's have a look, see what it comes up with. It's not come up with anything. Ned Kelly. It's a fairly recent movie, but it isn't called Ned Kelly. It's called something really long and ridiculous. Search for Ned Kelly. True History of the Kelly Gang? Don't think that was it. But that's a 2019. It was quite recent. Let's have a little look. Yeah, no, it was this. And there he is. I'm sure that's Russell Crowe. Probably turned out not to be Russell Crowe. Here you go. There he is. There. Russell Crowe, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you can see it, can't you? Look at his face. It's definitely the Russ. A beautiful beard, though. I mean, it's a proper manly beard. I mean, it's a pipe smoker's beard. For sure. There he is, look at him. This is actually a really good movie, by the way. I recommend this. The True History of the Kelly Gang, 2019, based on true story. Very, very good. good movie. And it has in it, I think, this guy. You remember the film 1917 or 1918, where it's almost like one long take in World War One in the trenches? Was it 19? Anyway, it was this guy here. Hello, Granite. How are you, dude? This guy on the left here, he's in that movie as one of the two characters that are, making their way through the world today. Very good. George Mackay or Mackay. And of course, the very old and decrepit looking Russell Crowe. Good film, this. It's a good film. 1914. Is that the one? Where they're just like in the trench at the beginning, and it's incredibly well done. It's Sam Mendes, the director? And it isn't, because I've seen how they did it, but it is done to make it look as if they're following these two guys in one long take. Apparently they were long takes, but they do things like somebody might just walk in front of the camera really quickly, but that was enough to stop it, cut it, have a breather, have a cup of tea, and then get back to it again. And then they just splice it in. But the whole thing was brilliantly done. I think it may have been 1914. Anyway, there he is. That guy is the fella that's in that, and there's Russell Crowe. So I can recommend The True History of the Kelly Gang, particularly if you want to see Russell Crowe looking incredibly old. We're going to come back to my elephant. I've got a lovely little thing to show you in a minute. 36-foot totem pole carved by the house of East Jewel in British Columbia a century ago is on a sacred journey back home, thanks to National Museum Scotland. Wow. The repatriation comes after a year-long discussion with the Nisgaislissims. If you play that backwards, I say I am a devil. It's quite clever. Government. And marks a historic, really important, ladies and gentlemen. You know how I love to teach you English. You know it, right? This is so correct. Let me show you this. Marks a historic. So many of us want to say an because we normally drop the H in modern parlance. And the thing is, you say an when the next letter is a vowel, A-E-I-O-U. That is correct. But when it is a consonant, you say a. A prison, not an prison, right? And it is a hotel or a historic. It really, really feels wrong because we're used to dropping the H and saying historic, but that is correct. Charlie Hunnam is more famous than both them to the younger generation. Oh, what, in the IMDb thing? I didn't even see him. I'm sorry, mate. Let me go back and have a look. So it was Ned Kelly and his mate, Charlie. Charlie, you said, didn't you? I'm going to go back because it was like... There. Charlie Hunnam. Is that Charlie Hunnam there? That little fella at the back? Is that him? And what is he famous for? Let's find out. Yeah, I love IMDb. He looks a bit like the rugby player. Oh, I've forgotten his name. He's been retired for a while. Biker Grove. That's not younger, people. That might be young for you. Biker Grove. That's even Sam can't remember Biker Grove. I never watched it. I was too old. Charles Matthew Hunnam was born on April the 10th, 1980 in Newcastle Lake. That's where, you see, this is it. This is why he's famous to younger people, because Caseball is from the northeast. This is one of his kith and kin. Born in 1980 in Newcastle, beautiful part of the world, I hasten to add, to Jane Bell, a business owner, and William Hunnam, scrap metal merchant, loads of money. At 18 years of age, he made a guest appearance in the popular TV series Biker Grove, which spawned Ant and Dec. He gained fame in Britain thanks to his television role as the love-spitting Nathan in Queer as Folk. Don't think I ever saw Queer as Folk, but you're right. That is very, very popular amongst people of my kids' generation, sort of late teens, early 20s. So that's what he's famous for. There you go. Awesome. Son of Anarchy. He's been in Sons of Anarchy, Children of Men. That was good. Children of Men, if I remember rightly, that's, well, look at it. Pacific Rim. He's actually been in some good stuff, hasn't he? Children of Men. There he is. That is Clive Owen. And Clive's an awesome actor. He did some big stuff on TV when I was younger. And then he's kind of broken out into movies. Doesn't do a huge amount, but this was a great film, this. It's 2027. It's a chaotic world in which women have somehow become infertile. And there's Michael Caine. A former activist agrees to help transport a miraculously pregnant woman to a sanctuary. It's a post-apocalyptic but really well done movie. Awesome stuff. He's huge, says Case Paul. That was Ant and Dec time. They're now 100. I know exactly. Ain't no kids in the Beta Grove late. My favourite thing with Ant and Dec, and our dear friends in America, I have no idea who we're talking about. So, ladies and gentlemen, Ant and Dec in the UK have become mainstream. They are two not particularly talented individuals, in my book. Lovely guys, don't get me wrong. I would share a Prosecco with them. But they're not particularly talented. They've kind of worked their way up. They were child actors in a kids' soap called Baker Grove. And they also had a little bit of a musical career. Let's get ready to rumble. Hey, let's get ready to rumble. And it was that bad. As, what were they called? They weren't called Ant and Dec in that way. I forgot what they were called. Anyway, they then made their way over to doing things like hosting Saturday evening live TV and stuff. And then they now do I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here and all that kind of stuff. Case Paul's pointing up Children of Men. Such a good movie. It got awards. Yeah, it's a really, really good film. I wouldn't mind watching it again, actually, Granny. That's put me in mind to watch that again. But here are Ant and Dec. Now, my thing about Ant and Dec. People often say, Rokk. Yes. How can you tell the difference? Well, here in this picture, luckily for us, PJ and Duncan, thank you, my friend. Luckily for us, in this picture, the director, who obviously had a problem determining who they were, he's gone and put their names on the back of their chairs. But I have a better solution, ladies and gentlemen. If you're ever watching a show that Ant and Dec are in and you're sitting there and they haven't got their names on their chairs or their t-shirts, this is how you remember. You'll love me for this. If you look at Ant, let me zoom. I don't know if I can zoom in because it might disappear. Okay. If you look at Ant, right, I've always said he looks like an ant. That's how I can tell. He has the head and face of an ant. Whereas Dec doesn't, so you don't have to worry about Dec. Just think Ant looks like an ant, and you can't go wrong. Declan Donnelly and Anthony McPartland, both interestingly enough of Irish descent, not themselves, but great-great-grandparents. And even more interesting, given that these two fellas have been lifelong business partners, right? It's true. I tell you now, Case Paul, you'll never forget that, my friend. Ant looks like an ant. That's how I remember. It turns out that when they did a genealogical thing, their actual great-grandparents lived in the same town in Ireland. How spooky is that? It's amazing, isn't it? It's one of life's serendipities. Anyway, that's Ant who looks like an ant, and Dec who doesn't. Love them to pieces. Meanwhile, this totem, making its way across to Canada, Leicestershire, I don't know what the National Museum of Scotland's got to do with it. Did they go in and negotiate or something? Came after a year-long discussion with the government and marks a historic moment for reconciliation between the museum and the Nisga'a Nation. I hope I'm getting somewhere close to that, where the memorial pole was first erected After nearly 100 years, I hear you sniggering, we are finally able to bring our dear relative home. Oh, bless. I know that in a lot of cultures, the totem is much, much, much more than purely decoration. Sometimes they embody their ancestors into the carvings, and it's like a living version or a physical embodiment of their ancestors. And when it's taken away, they lose their family. And that's so important. And I think we have to be very careful. It's all well and good just wandering into a village in the Amazon and going, well, I rather like that carving you've done. I love that. Put it in my museum. Luckily, I don't think that really happens anymore. Archaeologists do go and dig up stuff, but it invariably belongs to the country that they do the digging in. Now, they might get special license to tour it around the world, for example, but it always goes home. Always. Not so much in those days, sadly. The 36 foot, 11 meters, that's even taller than me, ladies and gentlemen, totem pole has remained in Scotland. What's it doing in Scotland? It was originally sold to the museum by Canadian anthropologist Marius Barbeau, who I'm guessing was a Canadian anthropologist. Weighing 1 ton, the art will make its way from Scotland. Nerds World, how are you, my friend? Sorry, I took a little while to say hello there. I just realised, I made a schoolboy error, ladies and gentlemen, because I read it as the British Museum, which is indeed in London and has indeed had 2,000 items pilfered, but I was wrong. They are just talking generically. It is a museum in Britain. It is a British museum, only in this case in Scotland, but that's okay because Scotland is seen currently as part of Great Britain. Wow. I made such a schoolboy error there, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like flogging myself with an old birch. Following months of preparatory work, a delegation of family members and supporters, Dorrigan has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. We've been waiting for you, brother. He's alive as well. Any good news tomorrow for GeForce Now, says Michael. I've got to be careful because I'm under embargo. There's news. Whether it's good news, subjective, isn't it? If you're thinking, let's see if I can do this without being specific. If you're thinking to yourself, wouldn't it be great if that new game that's coming out was on GeForce, then you might be disappointed. But it depends on which new game you're referring to. So there you go. Not if you are a Russian user. Why? What's been happening in Russia? Oh, those Russians. Anyway, totem pole. Oh, look at that. It's got like a little pointy hat. Oh, yeah. Talking of new games and not related at all with any game that I may have just been discussing, I was so chuffed today because I pre-bought Starfield some time ago. And I bought a couple, one to give away, one to keep. And somebody told me we can't pre-install them if they're on Steam. I was like, no! Oh, has it? Well, I'm glad it's closed in Russia. It shouldn't be operating in Russia. We were supposed to be solidarity with the Ukrainians. Tough. Kick your old man out and we'll let you have whatever you want. So, what was I saying? I can't remember. Anyway, totem pole. There it goes. Streamlabs gets really excited about this time of the show and starts bombarding you with messages. I don't know what idiots set it up. I'm going to have a word with them. Oh, yes, that's right. Thank you, Michael. And indeed, it was saying in Steam that it could only be installed from September the 6th. I was like, no. And then today, somebody said, you can do it now. And I thought, went and looked, and indeed it said, big flashy banner with a lovely 3D animation, you can preload it now. I was, yeah. So I've installed it on my PC, and on my Shadow PC. Aha. Yes. I'm super excited. It's if you are in the UK, it's 1 a.m. on Friday morning that it gets to work. Yeah, I know there are, mate, but you can't make exceptions. There were some innocent Germans as well, but we still bombed a lot of them. 1 a.m. Friday morning, which means for me probably 4 or 5 in the morning. That's my typical waking point. I will be doing the thing. But it's 8 p.m. on the West Coast. So 8 p.m. if you are on the Californian side of America. And then I think it's about 11 or midnight for East Coast. So you guys get to play it on the 30th, I think, tonight. No, tomorrow, yes. And Michael's going to stay up for it. Yeah, 1 o'clock's not bad, actually. I could stay up till 1. But I'm just wondering whether it would be better to go to beddy buys and then wake up and play for a while. I have to say, I'm quite stoked. I just hope it's not another one of those big disappointment hypes. I really do. And I've still got 50 hours of Baldur's Gate. I'm not going to get it done. I'm going to have to park Baldur's. Anyway, listen, that was the totem. That was a lovely little story. Then they've discovered, we're going to whip through these now. They discovered a new T-Rex cousin to T-Rex with a bulldog nose, a bulldog snout, which I don't think it has. I don't think it has a bulldog snout. But this one was down in North Africa, cousin of T-Rex. So it's kind of good news, I suppose, if you're an archaeologist or whatever it is, the person that studies dinosaurs. I forget now. India, of course, landed on the moon last week, didn't they? I haven't seen much in the way of video of it, actually, which I'm assuming this is what this is. I mean, I saw great, look at that. I saw the 3D thing. Oh, here, this must be it here. I saw the 3D simulation that they showed at the time of doing it. But I hadn't seen this. And also, did they land? Did they send the rover out? Because they were meant to be launching a rover as well on the surface. I mean, apparently the first nation to land on the southern end or the south pole of the moon, because it's really hazardous terrain. So nobody else has bothered. In fact, the Russians tried 2 weeks before. Russians! And they crashed. But yes, it's... anyway, they landed on the moon. And, we've all seen that kind of a thing. It was very good. Osprey, I think we did Ospreys. And there was the fellas that rescued the people from the cable car in Pakistan. I don't know if you saw that. Not much to see, really. Here we go. Couple of chaps being pulled along on a rope, having rescued somebody. Very nice. Now then, before I leave you, I wanted to leave you with this. This is something that I don't think it's new. In fact, it's 3 years ago. And I may have seen it before, but I forgot all about it. This little old elephant here, bless it. This little elephant, which I think is called Mongol. So 3 years ago, the elephant was 61 years old, so 64, right? Former logging elephant. So it'd been used in Thailand. They use them for logging. And if you think about it, they chop down the trees, elephant grabs it with its trunk and then drags it out the forest. But you see, elephants can get in amongst the trees, so it's actually less damage to the woods and the forests than heavy plant. But of course, it's not great if you're an elephant. And in fact, Mongol here, his body shape was deformed through hard labour, and he'd lost his right eye and tusk. So anyway, he was rescued and brought to Elephant World, wherever that is, which is by the River Kwai, famous film, River Kwai. And this chap discovered, he's something to do with it, he discovered that he loves listening to piano music. And he plays him. I don't think we've got audio here, have we? just me and the music. Okay. So he plays Moonlight Sonata to the elephant. The elephant loves it. He loves it. They're very, very intelligent creatures, elephants. But he literally comes up to the piano. He waits for the chap to get going on the old particular song. Look at his little head swaying. Look, he's like, oh, I love this. I love this bit. Oh, bless him. 60 odd years in captivity, lugging logs and losing his eye and everything else. And here he is loving his bit of music. Do you remember me telling you a while back that elephants communicate? I mean, they do the brrr bit, but they actually communicate by sending subsonic waves through the floor. They pick them up with their feet. Amazing. Amazing. But there he is, look, bless him. And you can tell he's an Asian elephant, ladies and gentlemen. He's got a little ear. You see, Asian elephants have got little ears. African elephants have got big ears. There's an old joke about Noddy and Ransom, but most of you wouldn't get it, so I'm not going there. And that concludes our happy good news section for Wednesday. K-Sport is actually looking forward to a lot more games being released in September than Starfield. Yeah, mate, I'm, and this is honest truth, I am looking forward to restarting my Ubisoft Plus account. I genuinely am. Because when that happens, it's because there are some great new games. I mean, look what's coming. Mirage. Star Wars Outpost, that I'm reliably informed is the best game they've ever made. What else have we got? We've got Avatar. Skull and Bones. Hey, I played the Skull and Bones beta over the weekend. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it before, but I really, really loved it. So I cannot wait to get back into that. That was such good fun. Got a couple of videos up as well. Rebelaka, how are you? Oh, hang on, we've lost half your message. Let me get you back up here. The biggest problem with using animals for working is they often be absolutely. I can't think of a situation where they're not. But in general, it is better for the environment. It's kind of that yin and yang thing, isn't it? You're absolutely right, though. I agree. On the one hand, if you're going to do it, elephants are going to be better for the environment, but please look after them. There should be a union for elephants. That's what we need. Phantom Liberty looks absolutely amazing with DLSS 3.5, which of course is the new Cyberpunk DLC. I completely agree. And it's actually very affordable. It looks amazing with that extra special ray tracing that they've worked up, DLSS 3.5. So that's coming, I think that's next week as well, isn't it? It's in the next few days, I think. It's not too far down the road. So really looking forward to that. So much goodness. And I still haven't finished Baldur's Gate. And they've now launched, what was the Cian thing that's come on GeForce Now today? GeForce. Play GeForce Now, isn't it? Play GeForce Now. It's 2 or 3 accounts are connected. Sea of Stars, is that the one? That's come today. Which yep, and that's Xbox. So if you have a Game Pass, you can connect it to your account and play that one, which I am going to do later. I'm definitely going to give that a look. So many good stuff, and also I bought the DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn Way Out West. Do forget your prancing. And I haven't got to it. I mean, I've played about an hour of it, and I just haven't got to it. So much to do. So much to do. Okay, I will say it. Starfield at 30 frames is an absolute joke. Let's play it first. Let's play it first. I mean, I've played games recently that are 30 frames per second, and I hadn't even noticed. I'm trying to think if Remnant was one of them, Remnant 2. I know I certainly played a game recently that was 30, and I thought, I didn't even notice. Dinkum is an amazing game, Michael. Yeah, they've got an update coming for Dinkum soon, a DLC as well, I think. The thing I love about Dinkum is that it's a one-man band. It's just one guy who created the game. And the other thing I love is right in the credits, he credits Australian Aborigines for some of the ideas that he's had. I think that's really good. Modern Australians, young Australians, I should say, contemporary Australians, they're much more in tune with what their ancestors did. And when I say ancestors, I'm largely talking about the British. Not me, I wouldn't. Don't pin it on me. Nothing to do with me. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let you go. Tomorrow, of course, is when we talk about Dinkum on Switch. What a good idea. Get in touch with him, Sam. Ask him if, I'm sure there must be a way to give it to a third party who could port it. But it would be an amazing game on Switch. I so agree with you. Why hasn't that happened? It's perfect for Switch. I wonder if... oh, hang on, it is on Switch. A new game... Let me just check on this. When was this written here? 2022. Oh, no, sorry. When is it coming to Switch? There we go. So, James Bendon, the very fellow who... it's his baby. And he says, console ports and other languages for Dinkum. This, by the way, was a year ago. Console ports and other languages for Dinkum are currently planned for after early access. I'm not sure what that means. I will let people know if anything changes. This is Games Revolution website. Dinkum developer James Bendon confirmed on Twitter. It should be noted that Bendon doesn't mention which consoles will be getting ports of the game. However, they do use the word, or he does. They didn't know what. I mean, these are he. He doesn't use the word. He does use the word ports, meaning at the very least multiple. Yes, indeed. Maybe they is the new he and she. I mean, it kind of takes care of it all, doesn't it? I didn't realise there were so many games like it. Stardew Valley, Farm Together, Minecraft, Terraria, Slime Rancher, My Time at Porsche. That's a good game. Dragon Quest Builders 1 and 2, Little Dragons Cafe. Of course, Animal Crossing New Horizons. Well, I had 4K 60 on Stadia. Yeah, I know, mate. I know. But I don't know that it's such a big deal. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I might notice. I'll tell you on Friday, having played it. I'll tell you if it was a big deal. It may well be. Didn't they say that they would be coming out with a 60 frames per second patch, though? Or am I thinking of a different game? I don't know. I mean, look, all these, the big problem always with these is the hype, isn't it? You know, we get so super duper excited. It's not really our fault, in fairness. It's to do with... It's the studios, isn't it? I mean, they want you hyped. They work really, really hard to hype us up. And then, if they don't deliver, it can massively spring back. You know, it's like a massively pulled bungee rope, isn't it? Huge elastic. And like the hype. And it's stretched and stretched and stretched. And then they launch the game and it's nowhere near as good. And then the elastic goes straight back in their face. Oh, yes. Yes. I don't know, is it going to be 60 frames per second on PC? Did you know, says Caseball, that no UK EU reviewer has received a review copy? And this is my point. I am a little bit concerned. However, you say that, the guys over at Digital Foundry, they've had it. Now, I know 2 of them are in the States, and then there's that really miserable English guy that runs it. God, I find him such a dirge. Oh, mate, smile. But when he does, it's like... Oh, jeez. The other 2 are right. I enjoy a bit of Digital Foundry. But they did. I watched them the other day. They'd been over to Cologne to Gamescom. And they said they've reviewed it, but they also got to play it a bit at Gamescom, and some of the concerns that they had from seeing the trailers didn't bear out from what they played, and they were actually quite impressed with it. So we'll see. If it's anything like No Man's Sky, I'm in. That was only 30 frames a second. Because a No Man's Sky meets Destiny, I'd be up for that. That would work for me. I'm definitely up for that. Steam has exclusive rights for the first year, then it's coming to console. Oh. What? For Starfield? Or what? Starfield's coming out on Xbox. Is it coming out on PlayStation? I'm not sure that it is it? I don't know. I'm sure it is. In fact, there's Starfield. Let's have a little look and see. No, just PC. Of course, it's Bethesda, isn't it? Just PC and Xbox. Oh, Dinkum. Dinkum, gotcha, dude. Yeah, he's such a... I'm really impressed with that developer guy. Zap64 had the best review. Why, what did they say? This is... Have any of the American reviewers come out and said anything yet, or even hinted? I don't know. We're all going to find out on Friday. I mean, I'm actually fairly easily pleased. And I rest my case on Redfall. I loved it. I was very easily pleased. Right, I'm going to let you lovely people go. So don't forget, tomorrow it's Thursday, which is our gaming day. So we'll do GeForce Now, we'll do Epic Games, we will do loads of stuff. No, I don't blame them, to be fair, Caseball. I mean, it's not even that breaking the embargo to get the views, doesn't happen. But the point is, if you only give it to the top streamers, they're not going to break the embargo, because then they'll be ostracized, won't they? They'll be blackballed and they'll never get any games again. I mean, they'd be stupid not to do it. Thank you, Michael. You have a nice evening too, my friend. So I will see you tomorrow. We'll do all the gaming stuff. Don't forget, tomorrow night it's our brilliant show, Rokk Players. Bjorn's already given me a sneak peek of 2 of the guests, and they were amazing. One of them I don't think we've had on before, but they were amazing. So make sure you don't miss that tomorrow. I am going to go and check out that Stars and Sea and Shapes and whatever it's called, and I've got to get more Baldur's Gate in, because it's only 20, 40, 30 odd hours before Starfield, so I've got to get it all in. Hope however much of your Wednesday is left, it's amazing for you. Thank you as always for joining me, guys. Really, really appreciate it. We'll look at all of the stuff tomorrow, all of the stuff. And of course, then we'll be cruising to the weekend. The members only show on Friday. That's it. I'm done. Rock out. Take care.